One of our favorites on this show, and if you're a football fan, he and his people have to be one of your favorites because Kerry, Byrne, and Cold Hard Football Facts are about just that. The cold, hard football facts. Give me opinion, yeah, but back it up. You want to talk about Tom Brady and this historic run that he has right now? Back it up. Tell me what I need to know. So Kerry Byrne joins us once again. Hello, Kerry. How you doing?
Butch, you couldn't be better. How you doing, buddy?
Doing well, doing well. Football season is back. It's underway. You couldn't be happier than ever, right?
It was a little iffy there for a while, wasn't it? We weren't even sure we were going to have a season, but I'm pretty pumped. I know you are, and just a lot of great football going on out there, and a lot of it, especially for people in New England, a lot of exciting things going on right now.
Well, when we start talking about, our eyes tell us, Kerry, we know that Tom Brady is playing football at the highest level of any sport at a position like quarterback. But your article goes on and says this is a historic run because of the numbers and how effective Tom Brady is. Tell us about this.
Well, kind of leading up how you describe what we do at Cold Hard Football Facts, a lot of times the eye test conflicts with what the data is telling us. We think kind of more in just, we remember isolated incidents and not the whole story. But in the case of Tom Brady, I mean, we all know he's been playing really well, but when we went back and looked just at his last 8 games, and it started on Thanksgiving against Detroit. I mean, granted, he was a great quarterback before that, but he is literally on perhaps the greatest half season of football ever. And the numbers are amazing. And we just, random, the one number that jumped out, Butch, is yards per attempt. Yards per attempt are a huge indicator. I know everyone after week 1 looked at those 517 passing yards, right? And said, wow, what a great
Let me jump
game.
in for 1 second
Sure.
and point out to folks that number is on the right there, and it's yards per attempt. And while you're going on with this, Kerry, I think this is fascinating because of the efficiency you pointed out. We all know whether it's ESPN's rating or the traditional rating, Brady's at the top because he's only thrown 1 pick this year, and that was a fluke one on the Monday night game. He only threw 4 last year. So the efficiency numbers are always going to be high for Brady. But as you're about to explain, this yards per attempt, I mean, think about that. You're talking about every pass that comes out of his hand, whether it's completed or not, and how productive those throws actually are.
Now, this is important. It's important for a reason, Butch. People like to look, especially in this day of fantasy football, at passing yards, right? He had 517 passing yards. We don't care about yards. Yards are almost an irrelevant number. Believe it or not, passing yards are an irrelevant number analyzing football.
Okay.
And the reason we know that because we track what we call the correlation of victory of all these numbers. And historically, if you throw for more yards than your opponent, you only win half the time. So it's not a great number to look at. But yards per attempt, Butch, you win that number. Historically, you win 75 to 80% of all games.
Wow.
Just look at yards per attempt. You can look at the box score and tell with the 80% shot of being right who won the game based purely on yards per attempt. That's why it's an important number, and it's actually one of the ways the networks and the analysts mislead the public. They need to show that number. It's like trying to judge a baseball player, a batter, without showing his batting average or his OPS or his on-base percentage. How do you know who's better? It's like, well, this guy's 200 hits and this guy's 150 hits, so the guy with 200 hits is better. No, we don't know that. We don't know how many times they were at bat. So in football, that yard per attempt number is the simplest and easiest way to measure how effective a quarterback is, how effective a team is, and how likely they are to win a football game. It's really almost a magical number, and it's so easy to understand. You pass the ball 10 times for 100 yards, you average 10 yards per attempt. So to bring it all around to Brady, historically the average is 7 yards per attempt. An average quarterback in an average game will average 7 yards per attempt, and it's pretty universal throughout history. Brady 5 times in the last 8 games has averaged 10.5 yards per attempt. Now, to put that in perspective, Dan Marino topped 10.5 yards per attempt 8 times in his entire career, Butch. Okay? So that just gives you some perspective of what kind of tier. He's doing things. Brady's just had a run of 8 games. He's doing things that nobody has ever really done.